The Black Panthers were a Black resistance and nationalist organization who established 65 survival programs, as they were called, allowing for survival pending revolution. The party promoted socialist ideals, community organization, and initially protested police brutality through armed self-defense, patrolling Black neighborhoods with guns across their chests, ready to inform Black men of their rights while police officers harassed the individuals within the community. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, the founders of the party, thoroughly understood California law at the time to allow the open carry of firearms, and knew that as long as they didn't physically interfere with police activity, their actions as legal informants were perfectly legal. The Black Panther Party eventually came to be known for this publicly armed display, a legacy perpetuated by the FBI in order to associate violent connotations with the party. The Free Breakfast for Children program was the Black Panther Party's most successful survival program, which, at the suggestion of parents and nutritionists, would provide warm meals every morning to thousands of children before school. This proper nutritional intake would provide Black children with the energy to properly learn in school. Previously, children would complain of stomach cramps, be unfocused, and be more susceptible to health complications, such as sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia was an issue mostly prevalent in Black communities, and another survival program grew out of that need for Black health care. The program that manifested from that was the sickle cell anemia testing program, often pictured at survival conferences that the Black Panther Party would hold. The nutritional provisions that the free breakfast program provided gave the students the opportunity to learn their individual identities and their identities as Black children in America. Black consciousness helped to drive home the first point in the party's 10-point program, demanding the power to determine the destiny of the Black community. That is the first point in the Black Panthers' 10-point program, which lists the demands of the Black Panther Party of the American government and society. These breakfasts also provided a space for Black children to be taught that they are beautiful, and to experience those who looked like them but did not live with them or were not expected to love them, who provided food for them and provided nourishment and provided loving messages for them. Two important figures within my research that I highlighted surrounding the breakfast program were Ruth Beckford and Erica Huggins. Both women had huge influence on the Black Panther Party, a party that was at its peak led by 2/3 women. It was a very women-heavy party, and a lot of women took up leadership roles. This was especially true when many Black Panther Party leaders who were male or members who were male were arrested for their protests and for their activism. Beckford was a Haitian American dance instructor, and after learning about the Black Panther Party from one of her dance students, she began accompanying that student to the 1968 trials for Huey P. Newton. When the idea for a breakfast program was initially brought up, Beckford jumped into action immediately, and after contacting Father O'Neill, the priest for the church that she frequented, the church that also happened to be founded by her father, the two came together to begin the breakfast program in the basement of the church. Beckford met with nutritionists, a fire marshal, and health department officials in order to ensure that the facilities that they had were up to code and were full of the proper nutrition, protein that the children needed in order to go about their day and learn what they needed to learn, and really soak in what they needed to soak in order to come to the full conclusion of their individual identities. Beckford also went around to different local stores asking for donations of food, and something that was printed in the Black Panther, the party's newspaper, was if stores did not comply, party members and community members were encouraged to boycott the stores, which would both boost community engagement with the programs, even if it wasn't directly by, making the food or whatnot, but it also served to encourage store owners to donate food, both so they wouldn't be boycotted and so they would be supporting their Black community. In an interview conducted by No Kid Hungry, Erica Huggins stated that although they did not discriminate on who they fed, 95% of the children served were Black or brown. And within the first week, 135 children were served. And by the end of the year, a whopping 20,000 children were served breakfast. The program grew very quickly, and it quickly became a nationwide program, available in 36 cities across the nation. The vast expansion of the program is explained by Billy X. Jennings, a member of the party who would help make the breakfasts and serve the children before going to class at Laney College in Oakland. He reported that every office was required to send 2 people to learn how it ran so they could open one in your area. This speaks to the resourcefulness in times of dire necessity when children were not being served and communities were not being given the proper nutrition in order to advance themselves and hold themselves up in survival. The intentional discrimination of welfare lowered Black children's ability to focus in school and absorb information that was necessary to their navigation of the world and the advancement of themselves and their community and their ideas. The first step to any of this, however, was to gain consciousness of oneself, which is why, during many breakfasts, children were encouraged and taught to recognize their own beauty and identity. They were taught to say, I am beautiful, and to say, I am Afro-American. This movement sought to teach children about their identities and how to navigate and advance through society as a Black person. This community movement sought to teach children about their identities and navigate and advance through society. And a program that grew out of this was the Liberation Schools, which was another one of the Black Panther survival programs, and was held by the Intercommunal Institute for Youth. And it provided children free supplementary educational facilities and materials to promote a correct view of their role in society, according to the January 1969 newspaper of the Black Panther. A correct view of the Black people's role in society sounds very diminutive when it comes from the general context of a white professor or a white teacher, but having it come from a Black school with a Black teacher teaching Black children completely flips the script and forms this very empowering society and this very empowering environment. And these liberation schools, in addition to the free breakfast program, helped to yet again push Black children to have the power to determine the destiny of themselves and their communities through land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. Point 1 and point 10 in the Black Panther Party's 10-point program.